Jerry Jones wants headlines in the media. So
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Jones fires McCarthy and hires himself. Like, he's like, just for like the circus of what that would be, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna at least get my money's worth.
Your Giants finally got their first win of the season. Yeah, right, against the Browns.
Yeah.
Which I personally think it says more about the Browns than the Giants. But what do you think the Giants need to do moving forward?
So the Giants should have won in week 2 as well. They were one catch, Malik Neighbors, from being 2-1, tied for first in the NFC East. So what I will say with my Giants is they looked good. They changed things up. They were much more aggressive on defense. The offense, my biggest concerns are turnovers. You just can't turn the ball over. Like, to start the game, a fumble that results in 7 points for the Browns is terrible. There was a pick the very next play for the Giants, and I'm like, here we go again. There was a penalty that saved it. They come down and score. The Giants have all the pieces to be a very good team. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think there's no reason they can't sneak into a wild card spot. Right now, the Commanders look like the best team in the NFC East based on like what the Eagles have looked like, what the Cowboys have looked like. So I'm not as down on the Giants. Everyone's like, we need to start tanking for picks. We're still in September. Like, come on, give me a little, like, I want to enjoy my Sundays right now. Like, we're not giving up on the Giants. And I think, look, I am a little biased. I'm going to say that to start, but I think they win on Thursday. I think they beat the Cowboys. It's offensive line, running back, tough-nosed game, and I think they beat the Dallas Cowboys, and they're 2-2. And now we're talking about playoffs again. Like, people will get reinvigorated. People have just been beat up. And that's why the Giants catch a lot of slack.
I definitely want to talk about the Cowboys in a second. But so you seem like you're in on Daniel Jones. You don't think they draft a quarterback next year, the Giants?
They very well may draft a quarterback. Like, so Daniel Jones, when you look at quarterback contracts, and I love talking about the business of football, and that's kind of the basis of why I got into this. Quarterbacks are making $60 million a year right now. Dak Prescott's making $60 million a year. Trevor Lawrence is making $55 million a year. And I've said this and caught a lot of slack, but if you compare Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence side by side and like took off the faces and just gave stats, Daniel Jones has better stats, has more wins, better passer, way better runner. The win-loss record probably is actually pretty similar as well. Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 overall pick. The GM that was there and drafted him is still there, and he paid him. And Daniel Jones just catches a lot of slack. Last year, he had a guy coming straight off the couch who didn't know the plays blocking for him. Like, it wasn't an ideal scenario. He didn't have a number 1 receiver. He didn't have Malik Neighbors. And that was a tough situation for anyone to be in. I say all that to come back to they're paying Daniel Jones $40 million a year. He's not getting paid like the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not getting paid like the worst quarterback in the NFL. If he continues to progress and show that he has value and can be a starting quarterback, you actually have him at a bargain of a deal. And I put that in air quotes because bargain at $40 million they don't go in the same sentence. But in today's NFL, quarterbacks don't grow on trees. Look at Miami. Tua goes down, they bring in Skylar Thompson. He's not the same. He goes down, they bring there is no one else to put in there. And everyone's like, oh, Sam Darnold. How many Sam Darnolds are there out there? Like maybe Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, there's some good options. So you're either going to go with a bridge quarterback or you're going to bet on the guy you have. And the Giants bet on their guy. And to be determined if that was a successful bet or not. It's too early to count it out.
Obviously, there's that back and forth with Daniel Jones, but Malik Neighbors has been killing it. So I'm curious if you think that he's making Daniel Jones look better, or do you think that other factors are in play?
Malik Neighbors is making everyone look better. He's making Joe Shane look better. He's making Brian Daboll look better. He's making the offensive line look better. Everyone is better. Devin Singletary, they have to keep 2 high safeties for Malik. Devin Singletary looks better. Daniel Jones, everybody. The defense looks better. I can give the perfect example, and I know everyone hates doing this, but we had a guy named Odell Beckham Jr. that all we did was throw him slants, and he took it 80 yards, and we all looked better because of it. If you don't have a dog, an alpha, number 1 receiver, you are in trouble. Let's look at Philadelphia. You lose A.J. Brown, and they have looked – Jalen Hurts has looked a little lost the last 2 weeks because you can't just throw it up to A.J. Brown. I was in Arizona with this guy, DeAndre Hopkins. You might have heard of him. He's pretty good. We used to just run around and throw it up to him, and he would make us all look good. There are players out there that just elevate everyone's game, and it looks like the Giants have found that guy in Malik Neighbors.
You mentioned the Eagles, Saquon going to the Eagles. It must have made you a little sick to your stomach knowing that a team invested the second overall pick in a guy.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the right move, letting him go?
So let's go back to like how Saquon comes into the league to like paint like the history of it. Like NFL teams aren't valuing the running back like they once did. Dave Gettleman invested a 2nd overall pick in Saquon Barkley. So automatically it puts him in like a contract situation where like his fifth-year options a higher number. So now all of a sudden, like you have to be the best running back in football to justify where he was drafted and how much money you paid him. So to start off, Dave Gettleman made that decision for the franchise. That's what you bring a GM for. Dave Gettleman also made some other decisions for the franchise that were not right, and he got fired because of that. Joe Schoen believes in building a team a certain way. He doesn't believe in paying a running back that much money. He said it on Hard Knocks. I don't believe in paying a quarterback $40 million to hand off to a running back making $13 million a year. I want my quarterback throwing to a guy like Malik Neighbors. He'd rather pay a receiver and have the offensive line than the running back. He traded for Brian Burns. He signed him to a massive deal. So it hurts me because as a fan, like I have my fan hat on right now, not seeing Saquon Barkley in Giants blue is painful. He's the face of the franchise, the best player the Giants have had. The only bright spot throughout the last 6-7 years has been Saquon. And to see him go to Philadelphia hurts. I'm from Philadelphia. I know how crazy that is. Like, to all of our fans that are like going down the shore and they like have to fight that Philadelphia Jersey border of like LBI or wherever it is. Like, yeah, you're going to hear it. He's the MVP of the league right now. Saquon is the most valuable player to the Eagles. I mean, who else would be the MVP? Maybe Sam Darnold, but besides him, Saquon Barkley. Fortunately, the Giants brought in Devin Singletary, who's been playing out of his mind. Got to stop fumbling, but he's running angry. The Giants have their philosophy, and that's on Joe Schoen. If the Giants don't win games, Joe Schoen won't have a job. Just like Daniel Jones, just like me, just like you. Everyone, if you don't perform, you won't have a job. And we're going to find out. Like, the time will tell how that one shakes out.
Yeah. We talked about the Giants going off the whole running back situation. So I want to talk about the Cowboys. Obviously, they have that upcoming Thursday night football game. I specifically want to talk about the comments Jerry Jones made in terms of we don't have enough money when they have $30 million in cap space.
Yeah.
How do you pass up on Derrick Henry, but you bring back Zeke? That doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has the most valuable franchise in the NFL history. $10.8 billion just came out. He's the cheapest owner in terms of cash spend on players. So it's crazy. The Eagles and the Browns are the top two in cash spend. They spend more on their roster. They have more players making $10+ million. And there's an advantage. The reason the Browns went to the playoffs last year with Joe Flacco wasn't just because of Joe Flacco. They have talent everywhere on that roster. Now, every one of those guys is hurt right now, and that's why the Browns look bad. And then they invested in Deshaun Watson, who looks like he doesn't want to be out there. So a whole nother scenario to talk about there. But you look at Dallas, they've spent the least amount of money on their roster. Jerry Jones talks about being all in, but Jerry, the dollars are telling us differently. If you wanted to surround Dak and CD with talent, he should have signed him the day free agency started or even before, got those deals done. That would have saved him $15 million a year because those contracts escalated like astronomically. He probably could have got Dak done for 51, 52 a year, and now he's paying him 60 a year. And so, Jerry, you're lying. You have money. You can spend it. You can manipulate the cap. As long as Jerry Jones is running the cap in negotiations, Dallas will forever be in the lower tier in that and having an advantage there. They're one of the best drafting teams in football. That's more of a praise to Will McClay, their player personnel guy. Keep doing what you're doing, Jerry, though, because as a Giants fan, like this helps us. I will say I picked Dallas to still win the NFC East because I think Dak is very good. The interior offensive line is very good. I thought they had enough pieces on defense because Micah's an assassin, but apparently, those D tackles that we thought would take a step, Mozzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, can't believe I got that one right. And then some rookies on the offensive line. Like I thought those guys would take a bigger step. They haven't. And that's where I think the Giants have an advantage. Like run at this Dallas defense because they're not manning up right now.
Do you think if Dallas loses this upcoming game, Jerry makes an in-season coaching change?
Bill Belichick's already been praising the Cowboys. So like Bill wears his emotions on his sleeves. Like Belichick is already saying like, I think they have the talent. I think they have this. So like Bill's already poaching that job from Mike McCarthy. Do I think they make a change this early? I wouldn't be surprised. Jerry Jones says, like, if they're losing, Jerry Jones wants headlines in the media. So exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Jones fires McCarthy and hires himself. Like, he's like, just for like the circus of what that would be, he's like, you know what, I'm going to at least get my money's worth. So like, if we see Jerry Jones coaching the Cowboys, I think this is what I really think the Cowboys should do. If I was Jerry Jones, I would trade for Kyle Shanahan. I would make a trade for the 49ers coach and Kyle Shanahan.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can do that. Why not?
When was the last time a team did that?
I don't know. We got any stat? We can get some stats. When the last time a coach was
trading for Kyle Shanahan? So
I'm trading for. I'm
you
picks.
think the 49ers would take him, Mike McCarthy?
I don't know. I'm going to give him
No
a first round.
freaking way.
I'm giving a first round pickup. I'm like doing whatever I have to do to get Kyle Shanahan because the Cowboys can't beat that tree. Like the Green Bay Packers beat them. Shanahan always bullies them. Like the Cowboys fans have already said, like when we play the Niners, we know it's a loss. We can't stop that system. Like if you can't beat them, join them. Go trade for Shanahan.
Imagine how cheap
bring
you
him
have
in.
to be. Okay, we're gonna trade and give you some picks for your coach.
I love that. Why are we not doing that? Like not all coaches are created equal.
It would make headlines. It would make headlines.
Jerry Jones trading
There you
for
go.
Kyle Shanahan.
Last team I want to talk about, the Commanders. Jaden Daniels looks so natural out there, like he been there, done that. And his first offensive touch or his first touchdown in the NFL was to a offensive tackle, right?
I mean, like a thick. What are, they're calling it a thick six.
Thick six. I actually mentioned that the other day. No one believed me. They're like thick six, but I digress. So, how do you think he's looking? Do you feel like he is that answer that the Commanders have been searching for?
Too soon to tell. Like, he is dynamic. He's going to be the starting quarterback. I look back because Cliff Kingsbury's the offensive coordinator. Bobby Johnson was my offensive line coach. So I know a lot of guys. One of my best friends, Zach Ertz, is the starting tight end there. All I've heard from them is how much of a professional Jaden Daniels is. And I look back to what we were able to do with Kyler Murray in Arizona with Cliff in that offense. They're going to put up points. Cliff Kingsbury always has guys open. That is his marquee. He has guys wide open. And to see Jaden have that success early doesn't surprise me. I didn't think the Commanders' defense was going to be very good, and they are letting teams hang around. I didn't think they would go hang 38 on the Bengals. So I'm excited for the Commanders. Like I said, they're probably right now the team you least want to play in the NFC East, which is crazy to say. I had them finishing last because I think he's going to go through growing pains. What will happen, people will start to pick up on the scheme, what Jaden does well, and they'll take those things away. So how will Jaden respond? That's going to dictate how his career goes. Like if he takes off and becomes that next great quarterback, or if he levels off and because a guy like Bill Belichick or whatever defensive coordinator's out there now schemes up a way to keep him in the pocket, take away his first read. Like those things are going to happen. So it's just too soon to tell if he's that guy. But you got to love what you're seeing if you're a Commanders fan. Like they're good for them. I feel bad. Like they've been beat up for so long. They had a tough ownership group. I don't know Dan Snyder, so I won't make any statements. But what we've heard was not good.
Not
Like,
good
not
at
good
all.
at all.
So good for them.
So good for them. Like I feel because we've been in the cellar with them in the NFC East as Giants fans. Like so, I'm almost like it's time for us to flip the script. I want Philly to be bad. I want Dallas to be bad. So it's
You just
time.
gave him that little bro talk.
Yeah, like, we're in that. We're in this with them. Like we've been sharing bunk beds in this room for a while, and we're like, no, we're getting our own rooms now.
Yeah.
Hey sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.